Hi, I'm Dr. Hannah, and this is going to be a video on our DNS 3-month supine progressions. I am going to start with leg lifting. I'll roll through belly breathing, and then I will also walk into hip dissociation and leg lowering. So if you haven't watched my video on what is DNS, then you might take a second to start there, because I won't be explaining a ton of the concepts of why a movement like this will be applicable to either your back pain, hip pain, or pelvic floor function. So if you haven't gone there, go there now. If you're ready to get started in the 3-month supine position, what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab something to support your feet with. So if you're in the gym, a box or a bench is awesome, but if you're in your home like me, using your dining chair table, or even feet propped up on a sofa is perfectly fine. So coming onto your back and being very intentional about how you get there. We want the lumbar spine as flat onto the floor mat as possible. My favorite way to do that is to think about, as you're laying back, you're gonna take your mid rib cage where the bra line would be, and reach it as far toward the crown of your head as possible. So really be intentional about reaching long through the low back as you're coming onto your back. And then bring the feet propped up onto whatever you grabbed. So we're gonna start with some hip dissociation. And step one in all of these postures is getting your intra-abdominal pressure on and active. What I want you to do is I want you to bring your fingertips to your low belly and abdomen. You can use lobster claws and wrap all the way around the sides if it feels good. And bringing your attention to your breath, I want you to really focus on deepening your inhales and exhales. On your inhale, send the air low into the abdomen, all the way down toward the pubic bone and into the pelvic floor. When you breathe in, what we're looking for is the diaphragm to descend and drop down, and for the pressure and air to be sent in 360 degrees through the abdomen and deep down into the pelvic floor. So as you breathe in, you should feel this expansion laterally through the abdomen, out into your fingers in the sides of your hands, but also into the pelvic floor. So feeling the pelvis drop down. Once you're feeling like you're starting to get the hang of this breathing, we're gonna add in the legs as load to challenge our intra-abdominal pressure and get our brain firing in the right order. Now to do this, what you're gonna do is take a deep breath in, fill all the way up and pressurize through the abdomen as much as possible. You're gonna hold that pressure at the top and gently lift your right leg a few inches off of its support. Exhale and lower. And on these, what I want you to feel is that the power to lift your leg comes from deep within the core and is supported by all of that pressure in your belly. Take another inhale. Hold that pressure at the top, and we're going to alternate sides. Lift the left leg. Exhale and lower. Let's repeat 5 on each side. Big inhale, fill up. Lift the right side. Exhale and lower. And alternate. Inhale, fill up. Hold that IAP. Lift the leg. Exhale and lower. Inhale, fill up. Lift the right. Exhale, lower. Continue to repeat this on the right and left for 2 more reps. Really working to minimize the shift in your torso. You want enough pressure built through the abdomen that as you lift your leg, you're not noticing your whole torso move. And everything else should be relatively calm and quiet on the ground. After starting with that type of exercise, if you're feeling ready to progress, we're going to work into some sustained holds and then hip dissociation. If you're ready for that, go ahead and take your support and move it out of the way. Now coming back onto the mat, and again, being very intentional about getting the lumbar spine long, we are going to come into a 3-month hold. When you're ready, get right back into that nice big deep breath, create a lot of intra-abdominal pressure, and come into our reverse tabletop or 3-month supine position. You want your knees stacked above the hips, and you can go heels in, knees out slightly, whatever position feels comfortable to get the hips resting in the socket. In this position, the whole goal is to feel your breath gently fluctuate while you maintain steady intra-abdominal pressure. Continue to work to fill the abdomen and deep down into the pelvic floor with your breath. And if this is your regular practice, hold for 3 to 5 breath cycles before taking a rest and resetting. Now, if you're ready to move into hip dissociation, what we're going to do is start some heel taps. So the whole point here is to keep the torso as steady and still and strong as possible while the hip moves independently of the pelvic floor and low back. This helps the hip function really well with a lot of core stability. When you're ready for your first rep, take a nice big breath in, hold your max intra-abdominal pressure, and then keeping a bend to the right knee, tap the heel to the ground. Exhale and come back up to start position. Alternating sides, big breath in, lower the heel, and exhale, come back to start. Inhale, switch back, lower that heel, exhale, come back to start position. Continue alternating right and left for 5 to 10 reps on each side before taking a breath, depending on your stability and comfort level. Now again, the goal in this type of movement is to get really, really good reps. You don't want a ton of shifting or rotation through the torso. What you really want is for everything in this trunk area to be as still and stable as possible while the leg moves. If you're noticing that every time you move your leg, your torso is shifting a lot, then it's probably time to regress that exercise and go back to the last step.